here today to wrap up 2020, the entire year, and to talk a little bit about my reading goals for 2021, and probably a little bit about what you can expect on the channel as well. So, reading in 2020, what a ride that was, wasn't it? I think that we all had our ways of reading and everything in between challenged in 2020 in a way that it hadn't been before. Despite that, for me, I read more books than I ever have in a year in 2020, and I read 93 books. That is a little bit mind-blowing for me. I think that the list may be somewhat skewed a little bit because I think there's a couple books on there that I actually DNF'd. And I have actually read a few books with my son that I did not include on that list as well. So it probably evens out in the end to be about 93. In terms of the numbers, that's like over 27,000 pages, which is insane. And 61 of those books were fiction, 2 were poetry, and 30 books were nonfiction, and 17 of those books were on audio. So that's the number breakdown for you. In terms of my goals, I think my mid-year check-in at the end of June probably sums up a lot of the books that I liked the most and all those types of things at the time. I had put out a goal for myself to read a short story collection each month, and I didn't end up doing that. I read 7 short story collections in 2020. And I think what ended up happening was with the BookTube Prize, and 23 of the books I read were for the BookTube Prize going on. A lot of my other reading was shifting and moving, and the short story collections just became less of a priority for me as the year went on. And I think that could be said, most of us may have that problem, that you set all these goals in January and you're very excited to fulfill them. And then by like August or September, you start to lose the momentum of keeping those goals in the forefront of your mind. And I think that's what happened with me this year, especially with the fatigue of continual social distancing and lockdowns and different things like that. It just became less of a priority for me to focus on those goals. So I'm not going to be hard on myself. I still read a ton of books. Okay, so for 2021, here's the deal. I am going to be a judge for the BookTube Prize. I will probably do at least one round. I'm probably going to do the first round, and then I will wait and see if I want to do any of the future rounds after that. I am also going to be continuing on my 1970s project. I did a video update about that project down below. I will link it for you if you are interested in learning more about that. I have 5 books on the list there that I'm going to be reading this year for that. I also have a 5-star predictions video that I made back in November, I think. And that 5 stars I will link below as well. Those books all have to do with the African diaspora. And so those books are also books I'm going to be reading in 2021. I'm planning to continue on with my Bloomsbury Diaries. That is reading some books around Virginia Woolf and the Bloomsbury Group here and there. And I also have 2 buddy reads, one of which I talked about in my January TBR with Natalie from Curious Reader, and the other one is going to be happening in September, and I'll tell you a bit more about that when we get closer to it. And I had set out to do a 12-book project reading across Canada, and it's a list I made. And I didn't make a video about it because I've started already to lose the momentum around those books. And I think that's because what I discovered during 2020 is that creating long lists of books that I have to get through, so 10 or more, is practically impossible. I just feel like it takes me way too long to get through those books. And if I was going to be really dedicated and read them, in one a month and never waver, then I would make more lists like that. But what I found is I do waver, and I do just get fatigued and not really accomplish everything that I'm hoping for with those types of lists. So I've decided to kind of abandon it a little bit and see if I end up reading that much in future. I don't know. I might read from it. I might not. Most of the books on that list were on my TBR already, and it was kind of a way to get me through my TBR. But what I didn't want to do this year was put too much restrictions on my reading, and that is because I want to start doing a lot of research for a body of artwork that I am going to be starting in the next year, hopefully. And I wanted to focus on a lot of my other TBRs, like my Paris and France TBR, where I have a lot of books about France that I want to read and things like that. So I'm just going to focus on personal TBRs they've already created this year. Also, there's always lots of read-alongs and readathons that I jump into because of FOMO, and I may do that, but I'm going to try really hard to avoid any specific reading projects. Even though they're so much fun to participate in on BookTube, I just feel that right now I don't want to commit my reading very much. I need to keep it fluid. I need to be more spontaneous in the things that I'm choosing to read. And that is because, again, I don't want to lock down my reading for videos at this stage and for BookTube. So that brings me to my next point, kind of about the channel in general. I talked about this a bit in September, that the kind of nature of my videos and how my videos come out is changing with the times, with my evolution as a YouTuber. And so you will probably see an increase in art-based videos on this channel, so more studio vlogs, less book content. I hope that means you'll still stick around, but I totally understand if you're only here for books and I'm not giving you enough of that content. So I plan to continue doing my monthly wrap-ups and TBR videos. I may end up combining them as I did for December and January instead of making separate videos. That will depend on how much content I have and how much time I have each month to produce those videos. There's so much wonderful stuff going on this year, as always, on BookTube. I have to really control myself not to participate in everything, but I am only one person, and there's only so much reading I can do around other people's book selections. And as fun as it is to participate in things, it has also been a bit of a lesson in how my own personal TBR has been delayed by this kind of constant wanting to participate in other projects. So I'm really going to focus in on that this year. And I think as far as reading goals goes, that's about all I have. I am keeping it really simple for 2021. 2020 was a bit of a, it felt a bit like getting knocked over the head with, ambitions that I just could not fulfill. And I want to keep things a little bit better, more well-rounded for 2021 if possible, so that I'm not putting too much energy into books. I'm also putting it into art. I'm also putting it into my health. I'm also putting it into my family. I'm also putting it into hopefully being able to be a better friend to my friends and spending more time talking with them and hanging out with them whenever that is again possible to do. And 2021 I'm walking in very slowly and carefully, trying not to cause a lot of noise or attract too much attention, because it feels precarious at this stage to say it's going to be a great year. I just don't feel comfortable saying that about any year anymore, if 2020 has taught me anything. So I hope that your reading goals for the coming year are as simple as you'd like them to be, or as in depth as you'd like them to be. And I will be back again soon with more videos. Thank you so much for watching, and Happy New Year.